welcome. Welcome to the new live. There may be some delay, and that's what I'm hoping that maybe you guys can help with, because there's definitely delay between my streaming software and YouTube. So not really too sure how that's going to pan out. So that's why you guys are here to help me out. So, like I said, you guys are going to have to help me out with this one. Am I delayed or am I good? But I do just want to welcome everybody. So, as you can see, we've made this a little bit more professional looking here. This is all based off of wanting to get everything set up for the podcast itself, which is coming soon now that I have everything set up the way that I want it to. But I at least wanted to do a live stream here to kind of get a test, get feedback from you guys. I want to hear from you guys as far as what guests you might want to see, because I have a list. I have a list of my own as far as guests go, but if there's people that you guys want to see on the podcast, which will be, podcasts are not going to be live. I think I'm going to pre-record podcasts and then edit them and then put them on the YouTube channel here. We'll still do some live streams just like this. So it should be fun. But yeah, that's the plan. So I'm going to try and go through some of the comments here real quick in regards to any latency or delay issues, because again, this is all extremely new to me and I cannot do tests with live streams and stuff. So we're all just kind of winging it. Not sure. Read a comment and we'll let you know if you're delayed. Well, that one was from a few minutes ago. I saw that come through, but yeah. So I may actually even have my wife come in here. Hey, babe, can you pull up the YouTube channel and just bring your phone in here real quick and see? Because YouTube Studio is doing me no favors. But anyway, so yeah, we've got a couple of, fairly professional microphones. We've got the studio lights, so hopefully you guys think that everything looks very nice, because I worked extremely hard to get everything set up here the way that I wanted it to. So I'm looking forward to having a guest on. I did not scrounge up a guest for this evening. I just thought we could hang out for a little bit and see. Okay. Yeah, there is a little bit of a delay. We can potentially work with that, but it doesn't sound too bad. Lip Ripper says I'm talking very slow. I don't think that I'm actually talking slow. Maybe I'm talking slow. If it seems like I'm talking slow, it's probably just because I'm drinking an old fashioned, but
I think you're talking normal.
I am. I'm not too worried about it. I think it looks great. Everything looks good. I'm very excited that this is working, because like I said, this is kind of a whole new realm of not YouTube, but definitely the podcasting, definitely live streaming, because it's funny, I looked and I think that my last live stream that I did was for the Kansas Angling Experience Guide Service 6-year anniversary, which will now be 2 years ago. So it's been a while since we went live, and it just is what it is, because I don't have a lot of time. And when I do, I don't want to be doing other stuff. So anyway, I'm going to try and keep an eye on some of the chats here. But the like I said before, for any returning or new folks here, all I really want to know is, as far as the podcast goes, I want to know who you guys want to see on the podcast. Because again, if you missed it, we're not going to do live podcasts with guests. I think I'm going to pre-record those, but they're going to be in the same video format, same backdrop, same overlay, all that stuff, because I really enjoy watching the video podcasts. But all the podcasts will be available on Spotify and Apple Music and all the other streaming services. So that I am also looking forward to. But I'm trying to get this more structured. We're going to try and do at least one podcast a week, maybe every 2 weeks. I can make it work with my schedule, but depending on the guest, that it may not work as well with their schedule too. So anywho, we'll keep an eye on these comments here. Yep, that is correct. Definitely from Wisconsin with the old fashions. It's been a long day, so I've been looking forward to this. I've been holding out. Actually had like a half of one or one maybe before this just to get nice and buttered up. But yeah, I want to hear from you guys, feedback on, I want to see how the audio sounds. I mean, I'll be able to watch this later, but since we're doing it live, I want to hear from you guys. What things look like, what they sound like. What do you think? What should I change? I'm open to suggestions. So yeah, but we got a couple topics about stuff that we can talk about tonight, but for right now, kind of in the first 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes here, it's all about you guys. So again, try and keep up with the comments here. Yeah, there is a strong chance that I may do a few podcasts from the boat. Not really necessarily sure about live streams, but definitely some sort of podcasts. I know Perrick did it with Barstool, since he's part of Barstool Outdoors now. Him and Sydney are both doing that. Their boat podcast was pretty cool. Not that they necessarily talked about anything remotely interesting, but it was just cool to see him do that. So I may steal that idea also. A lot of people in the chat here, really appreciate that, guys. The feedback looks good. Everybody says that it looks and sounds perfect. I'm loving it. Yeah, Josh is going to be on. I FaceTimed Josh Pig Patrol yesterday on unrelated topics, so I am going to corner him for a podcast, a video podcast. But again, these live streams, when we do a live stream, I may have a guest on every now and again for the live streams. But as far as the podcast is concerned, from the audio and video standpoint, we're going to pre-record those so I can edit them later on, because there's just a lot that goes on with that I found out here in the last week and a half of figuring all this stuff out. So like I keep saying, I hope for all the new viewers here that things look good, because I'm pretty pleased with myself. Things look good. Professional microphones. It's fun. Fun stuff. So anyway, couple things here too that we'll get into now that I'm kind of going through a couple comments, things that people are bringing up. Big changes as far as Kansas angling experience is concerned this year. Not really any sponsor movement, but adding new sponsors to the repertoire, Sims being one of them. That was one that I was waiting for a long time, as well as 6th Sense. That one just kind of made sense because I've already been on Waterland here for the last year and a half, so 6th Sense is kind of their sister company, so we got jumped on with them. Also have some huge news, which I'm sure if you guys follow the YouTube community page have seen. We'll wait on that news for a little bit because somebody in the comments brought it up, but he got the brand wrong, so we'll talk about that. But yeah, the backdrop here, I mean, it's not really any special backdrop per se. This is just my little office space, my little nook here in kind of the foyer area between the living room and the kitchen. Not super ideal, but these microphones that I got here are going to eliminate a lot of the noise that you might hear otherwise, like one of my dogs snoring, or like the air conditioner or heater, stuff like that. So it should be good. But yeah, we got back behind me here my two biggest smallmouth. One is from Kansas, one is from Wisconsin. Got my 12.5 pound wiper back there. That 35-inch northern pike. That's a 26-year-old mount. I think I caught that when I was like 9. And then my 30-inch walleye from Green Bay, which I will be this exact day, 1 month from now. I will be up in Green Bay walleye fishing. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that content, because I am very much looking forward to that trip. We should time it perfect. They're already on the river catching them right now, and I think the bay itself is going to be open. So definitely look forward to sharing all that content with you guys. Even if I don't catch another 30 plus incher, I would settle for a 28 or a 29. So yeah, that's the backdrop. But like I said, yeah, this is my normal office area, but I have everything set up differently. Just kind of trying to think of things that I might need in the future, like we'll just make it a fourth monitor to monitor all of your comments and whatnot. But it's going to be fun. Again, I am not a professional with this stuff by any means. I just go off of the video podcasts that I personally watch and mimic a lot of that. So that's where we kind of come in with the professional studio lighting and obviously the mics and having good background and stuff. So, yeah, Ryan Nagy, he's on the list. Dago, for sure, Ryan's on the list. There's like maybe two other Kansas fishing guides that I want to talk to, because there's really only two in the state that I get along with. And unfortunately, Ryan doesn't guide anymore, but he has for a long time. So I'm looking forward to that. He'll definitely be on. What else here? So yeah. Oh, okay. Same guy's going to bring it up again. So big news. If you guys did not see on the Kansas Angling Experience Facebook page or my Instagram or the YouTube community tab, I was fortunate enough this year to land a spot on Lund Boats Pro Staff, and I ordered my new 2023 Lund a couple weeks ago. It's going to be in production here probably in the next month, and I should have it we're hopeful for May, maybe early June. I'm just trying to set my expectations low so that I'm not disappointed if production takes a little bit longer, but that is obviously something I'm excited to share with you guys when that comes in. I went through Mid-Kansas Marine, obviously, my boat dealer, that I've been working with them here for the last year. They're going to do the whole 9 yards, aqua traction in it, trading in my Crestliner to them. So if you guys are interested in my Crestliner with nothing but the boat motor, kicker, and Tarova, no electronics or anything like that, then please get in touch with Mid-Kansas Marine when that's available, because I don't think it's going to last more than 24 to 48 hours once they post it, once they get all my stuff transferred over. But it's going to be an 1875 Pro V. They've completely redesigned the Pro Vs this year, so that is definitely something I'm very excited for. But yeah, it wasn't a Ranger. I think somebody in there said that it was a Ranger, but it's a Lund. Yes, Spencer Bauer from River Certified. I've actually been talking with him for the last year, off and on, about starting a podcast, and this is something that I was supposed to do last year, but between planning a wedding and just my regular insane guide schedule, the podcast kind of fell by the wayside. So that's why we're getting it going this year. But yeah, Spencer will be on for River Certified, if anybody is not familiar with that. So that will be a good one. But like I said, I've got a list of probably, I don't know, 15 or 20 people that I've slowly been going through and crossing other people out. So that will be fun. But this is a live stream. I always feel very obligated to be talking the entire time. So if I say or repeat myself or say the same 5 phrases 150 times in the course of this, that's why. But that's why I wanted to, like I said before, I wanted to try and get a guest on this evening, but this was all kind of last minute. But I just wanted to be able to have something that you guys could see from your end and hear and see how everything looks from your end, so that going forward, I know what I need to change and all that. So that's why I'm relying on you guys to help me out. Because if you think it sucks, then I'll take it into consideration and change whatever I feel like I need to change. Or if you think everything looks good, then we're just going to keep going. But I'm pretty excited about how everything looks. I've been looking forward to this because I've wanted to put my head on a shelf here for the last week with how difficult everything has been to kind of figure out. But in whatever spare time I had off the water, I have been definitely putting it to work, and here we are. We're really doing it. Let's see. We can go over my list of guests. I mean, I don't really want to spoil everyone that I have on the list because, I mean, there's a lot of people that have agreed to do it, and I would rather keep that hype kind of built up. So, I mean, we've already named a few, but what else here? Oh, well, that's a good question too. So Starker Fishing asks, what is the story with the name You Don't Own the Lake? So that, if you guys didn't see any of my posts before, You Don't Own the Lake is going to be the name of my podcast. And I mean, I'm a full-time fishing guide on a lake that is 7,000 acres that fishes like it's 300 acres. And after doing it for 8 years, I get followed around a lot and fished on top of a lot. And that's kind of stuff that I think is rude. So I let those people know that it's rude to do stuff like that. And their usual rebuttal in person or on the internet is, you don't own the lake or you don't own the water. Well, no shit, Sherlock. So that's where that name derived from. I thought it was kind of funny. A kind of funny, ironic name. Man, I feel like some of these comments are coming in late here based on what I've been talking about. So I apologize. We'll get all that stuff figured out over time. Oh, my wife is here.
I'm actually the first guest.
It's probably a good thing they can't really hear you. You have to be eating the microphone.
Oh.
You are my first kind of guest.
I didn't want anything. I'm just doing nothing.
Okay. So again, with this live stream, guys, when I keep going back to talking about just trying to figure out how everything works, please let me know in the comments below right now if there is some sort of delay so that I can see where we land. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think it's delayed that much because Northeast Slab Hunter saw that my wife stopped in here. So that's good. I'm just kind of scrolling through these comments again here just to make sure I didn't miss anything. But, you know, if you guys ask me a question or something that I don't respond to, feel free to copy and paste it and drop it down in the comments again so that it pops up so I can see it. Plus, the more you guys like this video and comment, obviously, the more people it gets in front of. And especially with the podcast, that's something I'm going to need your guys' help with big time. I feel like maybe there's a lot of you guys that watch the videos that don't like it or comment, you know, which is fine. But we want to continue to keep the channel growing here, which it is. We're well on our way here, less than 3,000 subscribers away from hitting 30,000, which is crazy because I don't even really post videos that much. But I'm going to try extremely hard this year to put out, again, as much as I can. But I think that next year, I'm going to reel back my guiding schedule quite a bit so I can focus more on the content side of things instead of trying to be a fishing guide, you know, 5 or 6 days a week and only have one day off to maybe make a video. And a lot of those times I don't want to. So that is the plan. But yeah, I guess all that was to say, definitely, and I hate saying it and it sounds so cringy, but it's true. Hit the like button, comment, share, whatever. Just enough to get the videos in front of more people. So anywho, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. I don't even know. How long have we been going for here? think probably about a half hour. Well, no, half hour minus the countdown. So about 20 minutes or so. We're not going to do this too long tonight, but I think obviously we're long overdue to drop in and check in with you guys, seeing as how it's been just about 2 years since the last live stream that I did. What?
What?
Do you want something?
No.
Oh.
I'm just watching.
My wife's being weird.
I'm just laughing because Kelsey saw me.
Oh.
Hi, Logan. Hi, Kelsey.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about the new boat some more, maybe. If I figured out the streaming software more, maybe I could bring up the web page to show you guys the exact model, but it's the new 2023 Pro V. Had to go with the 1875 because I still want to be able to fit it in the garage. Everyone's like, why don't you just get a 20-foot boat? Because I don't want to buy a brand new boat and have to have it sit outside. I can get an almost 19-footer in the garage pretty comfortably, just like my Crestliner. So we went with that. Still plenty of space, but it's going to have a new Tarova on it, 72-inch shaft on the Tarova, so I never have to worry about big waves, big wind, obviously. When we're trying to fish, don't have to worry about the trolling motor popping up out of the water. Everything else is going to be the same, though. They're going to transfer all 4 graphs over, all 5 lithium batteries, all 2 Sea Light poles. It's going to have a 9.9 Pro kicker on it, but I think the best part about it is going to have the 200 Pro XS 4-stroke. Oof. It's going to be mean. I can't wait. It's going to be a long 2 months here. Let's see, March, yeah. Late May, early June. I think that's when we're anticipating taking delivery on it to Mid-Kansas Marine. Then it'll be another 2 weeks probably for the Aqua Traction install, and then probably only a couple days to get all my stuff transferred over. But that will be fun. Yeah, Justin, I talked about it earlier in the chat not too long ago, but I will be going up to Green Bay, Wisconsin again, just like I do every year, first week of April for walleyes. That'll be my one personal trip of the year. I think I want to try and take my dad back up there on the east side of Green Bay in Fishdoor County in August for walleyes, or as my buddy Max Wilson calls it, August, because I want to try and meet up with him. And my dad's a little salty that I'm not taking him on the April trip, so I may have to get him up there for 3 or 4 days in August when it's real hot down here and the fishing is really good up there. So I think that's probably going to be the move. But personal trips, Danny and I are taking our honeymoon in July to Cancun. That's not really a fishing trip, but that's what I've got on the docket for the rest of the year. But yeah, exactly 1 month from today, I will be in Green Bay for big walleyes. So, oh, hey, Mid-Kansas Marine. Who is that? Is that Kayla or is that Garrett? Yep, don't forget the V8. It is a 200 Pro XS V8, not the 6-banger. The YouTube preview that I'm watching on one screen here is so delayed. I just saw Danny, and I looked back behind me, and I was like, why are you still here? Or are you still here? So, let's see. This is why I don't like live streams, just because I feel like I have to go through all the comments. But again, if I missed a comment that you want to hear something on, then just copy and paste it and drop it in there. I think we got like 50 people watching. I don't really hold out too much hope for my live streams just because I never do them. And I rarely ever do giveaways anymore, which is on the docket. That's kind of the whole thing. This live stream is going to kick off the new live stream schedule and, more importantly, the podcast, because that is what I care about the most. So I hope that you guys will enjoy listening to the podcast, especially when you see what guests I have lined up and the topics that I want to talk about, which I think that has honestly been the hardest part of the podcast, is just trying to figure out what I want to talk about and worthwhile topics that are beneficial for you, as well as the guests that are on. So we're just figuring it out, trying to potentially maybe insert a co-host. Not going to talk about that just yet, just because I'm not sure. All I wanted to do was get both microphones, the audio, the lighting, all this stuff set up. And that's where we're at. Lip Ripper, it's going to be a full windshield on the Pro V. That's something that is kind of funny that I know a lot of people on the channel would probably call me out about, is that I always said that I would never have a full windshield boat, but I think that maybe I'm just getting soft in my old age, or I care more about my clients or my family being comfortable. But the long runs in the boat in the wintertime are brutal on clients, obviously when it's cold. So to have that full windshield, it's not going to take up too much space, but it's a really sweet rig. Because I always say, like, if I was single and had nothing else in my life going on besides fishing and being a guide, I'd probably have a 19 or 20 foot tiller boat, but that's just not where we're at. So I'm fine with being behind a full windshield so that everybody in the boat can be comfortable. Anything else here? Yeah, well, and one other thing about that too, Lip Ripper, is Lund no longer makes like a side console or double bubble, so to speak, in a Pro V. So you either get the Pro Guide, which is the tiller version, or you get the Pro V, which is full windshield. What is the biggest slab out of the lake that I got on? I mean, it's funny, the biggest crappie that I've caught in Kansas wasn't on the lake that I guide on, and I wasn't even guiding, and I wasn't even crappie fishing. I caught it bass fishing. It was just over 2.5 pounds, and that was on a different lake. But I've put 2 different clients on 2 crappies that were just under 2.5 pounds. I don't even remember what they measured. They don't get super long, but in late winter and early spring, especially pre-spawn, they just start to get taller instead of longer, so you get more weight. But I know that my biggest that I didn't catch at that lake when I was bass fishing, that one was almost 16. But for me to have a crappie replica up on the wall, it's got to be at least 17 or 18. That's why there's not one up there yet. So while we're on the topic of crappies, I appreciate all the comments, Northeast Slab Hunter, because we're keeping this thing going. I'm not crappie fishing anymore. Literally March 1st, a lot of those big schools of fish that we were fishing, 3 to 4 days to a week prior, those fish are all gone. So we've been doing some white bass stuff, some, kind of sharpshooting bigger fish up shallow in the timber. But this is the month, March and April, where I start thinking about giant wipers and especially the pre-spawn walleyes, which I don't think there's too much more pre-spawn. They're going to be moving up here in the next couple weeks to do their thing, and I'll just leave them alone. But water temps are all over the place. I mean, I'd say today probably, I think the main lake was probably 40, but where I've been fishing closer back to the river, it's like 45, 46. So huge difference in water temps. And we got a shitload of rain last night, so I'm sure, the lake was dirty yesterday when I was guiding. And after all that rain that we got overnight, it's got to be brutal. But we'll be curious to see what the water temp does. But that's where it's at right now. Just we're in like that late winter, early spring purgatory where first week of March, crappie get off the brush. They start scattering out, getting ready for the spawn. Water temps are weird. Wipers, white bass, walleyes haven't really shown up. So it's kind of a tough time of year. Just takes a lot more scrambling for me and having, 12 rods in the boat for doing this, that, and the other. So that's what's going on with the lake. Larry asked where he can get. Well, I don't have stickers that say you don't own the lake. I don't know if maybe I posted something like that. I have stickers available on the Spring website, which link should be, or the Spring website should be somewhere in the video. But maybe I should get. That's a great idea. I should make you don't own the lake stickers, so I can hand them out to all the people that tell me that I don't own the lake. Classic. Let's see. David, no. So with DTS on my Pro XS, I talked to Garrett, the owner of Mid Kansas, about that, and I don't, with the DTS, and I forget what it stands for, but I know exactly what it is. But it's like fly-by-wire, almost digital throttle sensor, digital throttle something. So I had an electronic session on a client's boat, maybe like 5 or 6 months ago. It was like last summer, late summer, early fall or something. And he had DTS on his Verado, and when I was driving his boat, that the throttle is so touchy and so sensitive that I almost threw him out of the boat coming back into the dock, going to put it in reverse. So I just went with the traditional throttle cables just because with the digital stuff, it's like, for me, fishing 300 plus days a year, it's just one more thing to potentially fail. So I just went with the traditional rigging for the Pro XS. I know it's butter smooth, but again, for somebody that fishes every day, I would just be more comfortable with something that I know is not designed to fail over time, which I'm not saying that it would, but that's good observation on that. But nope, I did not opt for the DTS on it. Terry Tillman, are the fish on your wall from Kansas? The walleyes from Wisconsin, the wipers from Kansas, one of the smallmouth, one of the 2 smallmouth is from Kansas, and the northern is obviously from Wisconsin too. Yes, Ron, I am still going to have Garmin units. All 4 of my Garmin's on the boat right now are going to be transferred over to the new boat. And I think probably one of my 106 SVs I'm going to swap out for a 126 so I can have 2 12s at my console in the new boat instead of a 10 and a 12 in the back and a 10 and 12 in the front. We'll just have a 10 and a 12 in the front and 2 12s in the back or at the console. I've never crappie fished in Mississippi. Traveling south to catch crappies just doesn't really sound that appealing to me. I'm not a huge fan of crappie fishing. I do it in the winter because it keeps me gainfully employed and we catch a lot of fish. But maybe someday we'll get down to like Grenada or Sardis and catch a 3 or 4 pound crappie. But in the meantime, if I'm traveling, I'm probably traveling to go catch giant walleyes and big smallmouth because those are my two favorites. So, Mark Inman. I'm reading that you have to clean fish before you leave the lake. Mark, I don't know where that rule comes from. I think that rule is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. And if it is a rule, I want to see it in black and white so I can throw it right back at KDWP and just ask why, because any lake that has a cleaning station with running water, they winterize in the winter, so you can't even use the cleaning station. So I take all my clients from the lake back to my house because I live 5 minutes away to clean fish. But if there is actually something printed in black and white from KDWP that says you have to clean fish before you leave the lake, then that'll open up a whole nother can of worms that we can discuss sometime. If they did do something like that, it wouldn't surprise me because nothing that KDWP really makes sense. But they finally did. Kansas finally is now allowing 5-hook Alabama rigs. It used to be 2. You used to be able to have 2 hooks on an A rig, which was virtually pointless. Missouri's still 3, but now Kansas is finally 5. So good job, Kansas, for once. You did something. This one, my first old fashioned wasn't as good. This one is super good. You guys get some ASMR in the mic. I love it. It's good and fun. I don't think I really missed any comments here. I don't know how many people we got watching yet, but babe, how many people are watching the live stream? It should just tell you when you click on it how many people are watching. Am I still live streaming? Where did all the comments go?
I think it says 48.
There. Okay. Yeah, 48. This is why I need another screen over here. I only have 2 giant screens back behind me. My laptop's in front. My phone is being used for the camera, so you guys can see this majestic face in high def instead of a shitty webcam. Oh, thanks guys for letting me know how many people are watching. I mean, I know I can see it, but it's like 47 or 50. It doesn't matter. I'm not too terribly concerned about it because, again, this is all just a test. So big shout out to my buddy and one of my clients, Grant, for the recommendation on the microphones, because I went through 2 different ones before landing on this one. And like I said, there is another one for a guest. So either side of us here, we will have a guest. Oh, that's much better. So yeah, new stuff for the year. We got a new boat coming. I finally got on Sims, and 6 Cents put me on. So those are new partnerships for 2023. Super excited about those. Well as Lund too. If you guys missed that part, jumping on Lund's pro staff for this year. Thanks, Bass Techs. I wish I had time to make more, but like I said earlier, I think that the plan for 2024 is to reel back the guiding schedule a little bit, raise my rates, reel back the guiding schedule, and focus more on the content side of things for videos, and not just YouTube videos, but partnership videos like Mid-Kansas Marine. We're going to do a shitload of videos on my new boat, the Aqua Traction install, just a general overview of the 2023 Lunds in general and whatever else they have in mind for stuff like that. But product reviews, just all kinds of stuff. The creative juices are flowing. And that's why I started a podcast. So this is obviously not going to be, this is just a live stream to do a lot of testing for the audio and the video, but the podcasts are not going to be live. They're going to be pre-recorded, and then they'll be here on the YouTube channel. And then the audio version will obviously be on Spotify and Apple Music and whatever other streaming services you use to listen to podcasts. So Terry, I am going with another Terova on the new Lund. It's going to be a 72-inch shaft because 60 has just never traditionally been long enough, even on the big wind days. So we're going with a 72. But until Garmin comes out with a 70-plus inch shaft for the Force trolling motor, I will not be putting one on my boat. They're too short. What am I missing here? I don't think I'm missing anything. Probably going to start to potentially wind down the live stream here. Going on, well, we'll give it another 10 minutes here, making an even hour-ish. Yeah, me too, fish regulator. Me too. I knew that there was going to be at least one person that didn't let me get away with that one without saying it. What is my recipe on the old fashioned? So I'm only keeping one bourbon in the house right now. This is Knob Creek 9. And from there, we use a little bit of agave syrup. I'd say probably like a half ounce of agave syrup, and then several dashes of orange bitters. I am missing, I don't know why didn't I do that? I just bought a new jar of Luxardo cherries. Didn't put it in there, but it's pretty simple. There's good bourbon, some agave syrup, and if you want regular bitters, orange bitters, cherry bitters, I've got them all. So I like cherry bitters, but orange is good. That is the old-fashioned recipe, but I did just get the other day, well, a couple weeks ago, and I bought a few of them. Bullet Bourbon makes like an old-fashioned premix, and it is so good. It's very strong too. So if you have 2 of those, hold on tight, because I feel like my tolerance is pretty good, but that stuff, whew, it was strong. They make a Manhattan one too, but I found out after buying one that I don't like Manhattans. I don't like vermouth. It's gross. How's the audio now? I feel like a ventriloquist. You can see me, but my mouth isn't moving. Wow. Oh, man. So, if you guys have any other questions, comments, concerns, gripes, obscenities, drop them in the comments here. We're going to keep this going for like 5 more minutes. And then we can move on to other things, but I'm glad that this all worked out. Because here, I'll give you guys kind of a little preview through this streaming software. So this is kind of what it's going to look like when we have 2 people on. So we'll have me on this left side, and we can just kind of, switch back and forth. It's fun. I feel like a real streamer. We're really doing it. Pretty cool, though. And like I said, it's just fun to see it live in real time now, considering I've been working on it for so long. Yeah, I was waiting for you, Hugo. I know. I did not. This was not a premiere. It was just a, hey, this is all finally done and set up. I should probably just start something and test everything to make sure it works. So sorry, Hugo. This was very last minute. You can watch it all later, but we're not gonna go for too much longer. You got to turn on those notifications, bud. The notification bell. But once again, if you guys are just popping in, please let me know how the audio sounds. If I sound like a radio host, I want to make sure the lighting is good. I mean, I know that the lighting is good. It's not doing me any favors as far as my eyes are concerned. But I'm feeling pretty jacked. Pretty jacked. Thanks, Steven. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you had live scope success. We're going to continue the live scope videos here, getting into the second best time of year for live scope footage for wipers and walleyes here in the early spring, especially for big fish now. Well, and since my crappies are pretty much done for the year, my crappie fishing that I want to do is pretty much done. So we will see. May do some sharpshooting videos for, 14, 15 inchers, just giant ones, but that's literally my least favorite thing to do. Definitely my least favorite thing to do. Mark, I'm not going to lie. I really don't want to go Smithville. The only time I ever drive by Smithville is to go to my sister's house in Plattsburgh. And I go over the W Bridge and I just look at the lake and I'm like, nope, I don't want to do it. But I also really don't have the time. I feel like my buddy Josh, Pig Patrol up in Lincoln, he always says he doesn't like to travel, and neither do I, because I live 5 minutes from one of the best lakes in the northeast part of the state. And when I do travel, I want to go north for walleyes and smallmouth. And that's pretty much it. But everyone will say, oh, you're scared. You don't want to go to different lakes. No, I'm just pretty comfortable and set in my ways. And I'm a full-time fishing guide running 300 trips per year and a beautiful wife and 3 of her kids here at home. 2 dogs, 2 cats, good bourbon, and a big boat in my garage that's really fancy and nice. So I don't want to go anywhere. Hugo says hello, Nancy. Hi, Hugo. Yep. She's probably been looking forward to that. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Larry, I can't really speak to a 1222, but I run a 1243 XSV for my live scope unit. I know it's nothing. It's nowhere near the 1222, but I mean, I've never used a 1222, but you would just have to research the resolution for both of those and see if they're the same. I feel like maybe the 1222 would have better resolution, but you'll probably want the one that's the hybrid of the keyed version and the touchscreen, whereas obviously the 126, the EchoMap 126 is just touchscreen, so it's all kind of personal preference. I like having, well, I have 3 EchoMaps on my boat, and then the GPS map. All 3 of the EchoMaps talk to each other, and then my GPS map is the standalone live scope unit. So I've always been an EchoMap guy until I got the GPS map just for live scope, the Mac Daddy 1243 XSV. It's not the Mac Daddy 8610 or 8616. Those are the Mac Daddies, but I still like the 1243. I don't need a 16-inch unit up front. If your eyes are that bad, you probably shouldn't be fishing. Yeah, 1243 definitely has a higher resolution than the 1222. For sure. Anyway. Oh, did anybody hear Tucker? I'll be curious to see with these mics. Tucker just got upset and barked at something. Maybe nobody heard him. We'll find out later. It'd really do some spoken word type stuff. Yep, Tucker, everybody kind of heard you. Dickhead. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys tonight. Thank you so much for coming by the live chat. Again, this was very impromptu. I've literally had this whole setup kind of placed for like a week here, but just didn't have the audio settings quite right, and I was waiting on new microphones and still trying to get all the streaming software stuff figured out. You know, again, like switching back and forth between stuff like that. I think it's gonna look pretty sweet. But that's what it's gonna look like when we have the video podcast going. And again, they're gonna be pre-recorded, so they are not gonna be live. We may do premieres where you guys can drop questions and comments in on the video, and obviously we'll have the guest watching that as well, so he or she can interact with you guys. But that's kind of the direction that we're going. So I'm not going to reveal who the first podcast guest is going to be. We're going to leave that up to the imagination, but those will be on the YouTube channel as well. And I will try my damnedest to do at least maybe a live stream once every 2 weeks or once a month or something like that, just to pop in and say hi. Now, especially that it's not just me on my MacBook Pro webcam sitting at my desk with nothing appealing to look at behind us. So that's all I've got, guys. Thank you again so much for tuning in. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. The more you like, the more you comment, the more these videos get in front of people. And we're on the race to hit 30,000 subscribers. We're less than 3,000 away. And I think that maybe by summer, we'll have hit that 30. So thank you guys again so much for stopping in. I'll go through these comments and respond to them in the chat later, but really appreciate you. Love you guys. We're going to end this one. We'll see you later.